Good afternoon, everybody. It's Wasim Parkar. It's men's semi-final day at the US Open. Before I get into Djokovic versus Monfils and Wawrinka versus Nishikori, just some reflection on the women's semi-finals. First of all, hats off to Karolina Pliskova. She served amazing. And I think it was the first time Chris Evert on the ESPN commentary here in North America was saying it's the first time Serena got a taste of what it was like to play Serena. With that first serve, Pliskova went big. She found the right angle. She out-aced Serena. She totally deserved it. She took the risks on Serena's second serve. It was truly a terrific performance. And I have to say, you got to give some kudos to Serena. Even though she seemed a little troubled with the leg in her post-match comments, she clearly gave Pliskova all the credit. And I sort of agree that even though the schedule might seem tough on paper, on the regular tour outside of the Grand Slams, players, especially the women, are used to playing day after day after day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if they are to win a championship or make a final. So all the credit goes to Pliskova. The second semi-final, we saw lots of long rallies as expected. I don't think Wozniacki played that badly, but I think Kerber just won the bigger points more consistently. Kerber played really well. Wozniacki played pretty well. There was also some tension and some errors in this match as well, and I'll talk about that when I preview the women's final between Pliskova and Kerber. But overall, it turned out to be a comprehensive win for Kerber, but I think Pliskova's win over Serena was more convincing. So those are the women's semi-final out of the way. The men's semi-finals are today. Folks, first of all, I want to say I'm a little annoyed. I'm a little perplexed. They had both the women's semifinals yesterday in the night session. I thought that was a great idea, 7 to 11. But today, the men's semifinals are starting at 3, and if possible, the second semifinal will start on 5, which has me bemused. It is, after all, a Friday evening. You'd expect a good crowd at the USTA Tennis Center to watch the semifinals, and yet they're starting at 3. It's also going to be a very hot day. At some points, it's going to feel like 42, 43 with humidity in New York, which is crazy. There's also chances of rain, so most likely we're going to see indoor tennis for both the semifinals. Will that have an effect? Very possibly could be. But nonetheless, I don't see why they couldn't start. Obviously, maybe 7 o'clock is taking a risk in terms of times for two men's best of 5 set semifinals. But then again, isn't the charm of Arthur Ashe night sessions supposed to be, matches being played till midnight, 1? The other day, Stan and Juan Martin were playing till about 12:45, 1, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm just a little bemused. I mean, they could at least have started the session at 5 p.m., maybe the first semifinal at 5. That way, if people are coming back from work, they could make some adjustments, take an hour early off on a Friday and make it for the first semifinal, and at the very latest reach there for 8 for the second semifinal. I think that would have added more to the atmosphere. Starting at 3 o'clock on a Friday is just surreal, especially when semifinals should really be treated as showpiece occasions, much like finals. Anyways, that's my negative rant out of the way. So the first semifinal is Djokovic versus Monfils. I want to try and be open-minded. I want to try and be analytical about this and point out ways that Monfils can actually beat Djokovic. And I'm really struggling. No doubt, Monfils has played some excellent tennis so far, probably some of the best tennis I've seen from him in maybe 3 years. He's not dropped a set. He's played really solid. I mentioned before, I'll say it again, I love how he's coming forward, finishing points at the net. His net plays improved a lot. But Djokovic is another animal altogether right now. And the fact that he's so fresh and well rested going into the semis, I mean, just 2 full completed matches. It's unbelievable. I can't remember such luck. And you have to blatantly call it like it is what it is and on a run to the semifinals. And Djokovic leads the head-to-head 12-0. I mean, it's never too late to get that first win. I hope we get to see a good match. I really want Monfils. I hope, first of all, that Monfils doesn't lose it in the head. You play your best tennis and Djokovic outplays you, you can live with that. I just don't want Monfils checking out or giving up. And if that doesn't happen, I'm hoping we at least get 4 sets. I think we all can agree that it's the second semifinal that has the more suspense to it. Stan Wawrinka versus Kei Nishikori. Wawrinka leads the head-to-head 3-2. Last year, Wawrinka beat Nishikori at the Australian Open. And just before that, at the US Open, they had a phenomenal 5-setter that Nishikori won. Now, Nishikori is coming off a fantastic win albeit quite draining win against Andy Murray, where Stan in his own right had a very impressive win against Juan Martin Del Potro, despite the crowd supporting Del Potro. Wawrinka kept calm and won in 4 sets, played some sublime tennis. That backhand down the line was just sensational the other night. So you're looking at two informed players. For my money, Wawrinka has the edge in terms of weapons to finish points, but mentally, he gives you a chance, doesn't he? Like even against guys like Ilya Marchenko, Dan Evans, Wawrinka gave his opponents chances. So, will he give Nishikori the same amount of chances? And if so, will Nishikori capitalize on them? I think if this game turns out to be a mental battle, a battle of attrition, I'll give the slight edge to Nishikori, even though he may be a little fatigued. But if Wawrinka stamps his authority on the game early and seizes the initiative, I think Wawrinka is clearly at this stage of the career a superior player and also more experienced playing at the semifinals, despite Nishikori being a finalist himself at the US Open. So there are a lot of variables. I'm looking forward to a lot of good tennis. I'd be very surprised if this match was won in straight sets. I'm expecting a great one, and I really can't call a winner. I'm leaning more towards Stan the man, especially maybe because a part of me wants to see a final between Stan and Novak again. You know, they've played some great matches at Grand Slams, but you just can't rule out Nishikori, as Andy Murray found out the other day. So I hope you get to watch two really good semifinals, and I'll be back with a preview for the women's final between Angelique Kerber and Karolina Pliskova. Thank you, folks.